Story 1. 8 years together, 6 years married. What to do? Hi everyone. Just recently joined this sub because unfortunately I got cheated on. Forgive me for any spelling errors, as English is my second language. TLDR at the bottom. I'm a male, 32, married to my wife female, 27, for almost 6 years now. We've been together for 8 years and 3 months. Lived together for 7 years. Life was great, I really feel like we were the perfect couple. We both have cars, good jobs, stable finances, and we bought a house 5 years ago. February 2022 I unfortunately, very unexpectedly, lost my mother. What followed were very rough months, for me. But also for my wife who was also very close to my mother. And by rough I mean really rough. In 6 months' time we only went out no more than 2 times, we always stayed in relaxing on the couch, chilling, watching TV. I wasn't, due to my grief, happy, but I expected we would get through this. D-Day as I see everyone call it, was 5 weeks ago. My wife went out drinking with 3 male friends from work about 5 minutes away from our house. I was okay with my wife going out and I told her I was going to bed soon. In the middle of night around 12:30 my wife came home, with 3 guys, I know all of them, and said she was going out in the city with them. I didn't like it, but couldn't stop her. Everything closes at 4 a.m. but even though it's a 15 minutes ride she came home at 5:30 a.m. That's when my suspicions began, even though before this night I never mistrusted her. Today 4 weeks ago she left the entire Sunday, said she was going to some carnival with her mom. I did not trust it, but what can you do? She even left without saying goodbye, while I was taking a shower. Later that day when she came home she entered our house crying. My first response was, "Honey, come here, what happened? Did something happen? What's got you so upset?" Her literal first words at that moment were, "I want a divorce." After that we talked a bit about it, both very emotional. I straight up asked her if she cheated, but she said no. She told me she's been unhappy for a longer period of time, and hence the divorce. She never told me something was wrong with our relationship, so this came as a complete shock to me. Anyway, after the talk she left and now she lives at her mom's house. 4 days later I saw her again because we had a dog for which I alone cannot take care of, and neither can she at her mom's house. So our dog stays at an aunt's house. I confronted my wife about cheating again, and this time she admitted it. She told me she cheated on me for the entire week since she went drinking until the week later when she left home. She said she thinks she is in love with him. I asked my wife what's so great about him, and the only thing she says is we have a good connection. So that's it, I suppose. She also said she feels like she is going through some sort of midlife crisis. Doesn't know what to do with her life, doesn't know what she wants. I do not know if she's going crazy, laugh out loud. She dyed her hair purple. And all out of nowhere she signed up for lessons to drive a motorcycle. The first week or maybe 2 weeks after I tried reconciling, but she wouldn't budge. Every serious message I send her gets straight up ignored. Casual messages I do get a reply on, but it's short responses with a certain arrogance, I guess. I seriously do not recognize my wife anymore. Her personality seems to have changed in literally 1 week time. She is treating me as if I never existed in her life, and like I'm some piece of garbage. Is this some kind of defense mechanism to make it easier for her, pushing her problems towards the future? Or could it be she really changed and feels this way now? How on earth is this possible? I mean, I know falling in love is an awesome feeling, but what happens with her in a few months when the honeymoon phase with this guy is over, and she really wakes up from it all? I've been experiencing a lot of mixed feelings. Really a lot. I resent her for the fact she cheated on me, and I'm disappointed. But I also realize, and know that the fundamental basis of our marriage was always great. From D-Day to today we are 5 weeks further. She has still not officially filed for divorce, and neither have I. I'm not sure, but I'm fairly certain she is still seeing the guy she cheated on me with. To be honest, at this moment I'm torn between wanting to save our marriage, and just ending it. At this moment I honestly do not care if we get back together or if we divorce. So I honestly don't know what to do. If I file for divorce now, I might regret this in the future for being too fast, I suppose. But I also cannot keep living in this sort of limbo in which I am officially still married, but she already left. TLDR, 6-year married, wife cheated on me 5 weeks ago. She lives with her mom, and she still sees the guy she cheated me with. We have not filed for divorce yet. Update. Yesterday I made some calls to a mediator. They handle all aspects of divorce. Today we had the talk with this mediator. Unfortunately my STBX, her car broke down, so I had to pick her up. And yes, I really had to. For this all to work, and get the divorce through this mediator, it is crucial that both me and my STBX are at the meetings with him. Our meeting went pretty good, and the way I expected. We both expressed our feelings about wanting to get divorced, but the infidelity was never mentioned. This mediator is neutral, and does not pick sides, so I did not think it was worth mentioning. Also in the Netherlands we have no laws against cheating. She still has the same rights that she would have had if she did not cheated. After the mediator left we were still sitting together at the table, barely talking. Only distraction we have is from our cats running around. After a few minutes I asked her have anything left to say? To which her response was no. I said okay, then I think you can go now. Because I don't want you here. Okay, can you take me home? I said no, how you are getting home is your own problem, I am not in the mood to drive 30 minutes to take you home. After this she looked a bit emotional. I think she expected me to drive her home, as normally in the past I did everything for her. After that she called her mom, who's picking her up in about an hour from now. My wife said I'm going to take a walk for about an hour until mom gets here to pick me up. While she left she still looked hurt, and visibly emotional. But while I'm staying strong, I still notice a lot of strange behavior on her part, and I think she is still in the affair fog. Despite everything, I still love her for who she was. Now I am staying strong, and I'm treating her as if she means nothing to me. Edit. Actually, as of right now she doesn't mean anything to me. She simply is not the woman anymore that I loved, and was loyal to. Anyway, for now that was the update. I'll keep you posted in the future. And once again thanks to everyone for the massive response, and help on my previous post. Story 2. My wife finally confessed to cheating with her coworker 11 years ago, when we are still live-in partners with a 2-year-old son. It happened 11 years ago when I am still 27 and she is about 30. We've been together that time for 8 years as live-in partners. And we have a son who was 2 years old at that time. Now I'm 38M, and my now wife is already 41F. We've been together 19 years, and married for 11 years. We have 2 more kids now, 8M and the youngest is 6F. English is not my first language, so please bear with me. During our first 8 years living together, we have had our ups and downs but still stuck and fight for each other. We really had no significant problems in our relationship, and we were very close. Before I met her, I came from a 4-year relationship, and my ex cheated on me. That's why it's hard for me to trust fully again. Interestingly enough, she also had a boyfriend for 1 month when we met. They didn't have the chance to be together since she left to work in my area right after she accepted him. She said there was no connection between them. I find it interesting because she accepted me while still not ending it with him. Eventually, she returned to that place and ended it with him because of me. It was tough for me to trust her, but eventually, I gave it all to her, especially when we were already living together and had a child. I was confident that there is nothing to worry about regarding her loyalty since she is busy taking care of our child and she is a very caring partner and mother. The problem started when she decided to work again. I stopped working on finishing my last year in college. We decided to have my mother care for our kid while she worked and I studied. My mother is living in another area which is a little far. So when we took our son to her, it took us a day to travel to her place. We stayed for a month with my mother and went back together. Everything was good between us, she worked while I studied. And after 6 months, we decided to get our son back. This time I will get my son alone and my partner is already working. I stayed there for 3 weeks before returning now with my son. My partner was left alone in our apartment the whole time. During those times, We are already having some issues with her work because her workmates sometimes like to go out and have a drink after work. This leads to fights between her because she becomes entitled and is already very stubborn. I specifically ask her to avoid these activities, but she always says that she is with friends and her cousins are with them, so she is safe. Some of her cousins are also her workmates. During the time I am away, we are constantly calling and texting each other daily. So there is nothing unusual really to think about. When I and my son got back, I noticed she was sweeter and a little more active in bed than usual. But I thought she just missed me for the 3 weeks I am away, so I am happy to give it to her. After a month I heard her phone text message and out of curiosity, I opened the message. I saw that it was from someone from her work, and she texted back saying, "Stop texting me here, my live-in partner might read it." This was the time my knees shook, my chest felt like there was a hole in its heart.